those lawn edge streets are a real sign of prosperity and well-being, and I think they have a psychological meaning that is huge beyond what it just looks like.
And the amount of water, the amount of poison, the amount of gasoline to do it, it's something that people, I don't think, even question.
I don't want to be embarrassed when people walk by and see my yard. And there's been times where I've been embarrassed. I mean, I got a little bit of pride, but, you know, it's not like I'm going to, you know, kowtow to people that want this thing perfect. Although I'd like it perfect. Action.
This is it.
Honey, this grass will look great. This grass will look great. This grass will look great in our yard.
These are the storyboards for the commercial that we're shooting. Their grass is so good that everybody wants to just steal it.
Beautiful. And you're caressing. Let's try it again. Honey, this grass will look great in our yard. And action.
Honey, this grass will look great in our yard.
Drop the shovel.
And I think the tag is going to be like, there's a better way to get a better lawn. You know, basically you don't have to break into a football stadium to get a good lawn. You just buy this product. And
I think that when somebody puts forth a huge effort on their front yard, it's for literally for the neighborhood. It's not so much for them. It's kind of like, this is my job to keep up my neighborhood's value and as a present almost. The reason that we're doing the Yard of the Month is to try to encourage this neighborhood competitiveness.
What do you do to get weeds to grow in your yard? Nothing. They go there all by themselves. But what do you do, to get the good grass to grow? You nurture it, you feed it, and the same is true spiritually. You know, how do you grow in that fashion? You stay in the Word, you stay in the Scripture.
You can tell a lot about people. There's two things that I've always said. You can tell by their yard, the outside of the house, and you can also tell by the pictures on their wall. Make your yard an expression of how you feel about life and about situations, and how you feel about your where you live and your neighborhood, and make it look like when someone drives by, they said, "Now that's a nice yard."
So this is fiberglass. Right?
Oh yeah, it's a fiberglass. It's a gel coat like they put on there. And then this, you can see where it was patched. That's how you patch it. That's how you reseed. That's how you reseed.
I'm Virginia Scott Jenkins. I'm the author of The Lawn, A History of an American Obsession, published by the Smithsonian Institution Press. Americans' attachment to the lawn is something that was advertised, marketed, imposed on people as an upper-class aesthetic that most people had to learn.
All she had to do was cut one strip around the outside of the lawn and then set the mower on automatic. From then on, there's nothing to do but drink a toast to a time saver that feels its way along.
I think most people assume that a lawn is a natural phenomena, that everybody has lawns, and that's what you're supposed to look like. In 1900, 75% of the people in the United States lived in rental housing. They didn't own their own homes. It was only with the spread of people owning their own homes in suburban areas that you got the development of the American lawn.
Price right now, it varies as far as market demands, but we're at a 15-cent market price per square foot. So you're looking at, what is that, $60 a pallet. That was 1,600 square feet of grass, probably within 10 minutes. And that was slow. Pretty load of grass.
What might happen is that because your neighbors' yards are so bad, yours might be great, but your neighbors are bad, that's going to cause a problem with your sellability. And the sellability factor means is that your home is going to be on the market longer and it probably is going to sell for less. And that might be because your perception is, wow, you don't have good neighbors, you know, because those yards are awful.
See, now this corner lot right here, that's not too bad. Their mulch isn't real fresh, but...
And you're mulching too, right? Get the mulching deck set up. Cool, man. And I'm just salivating at all that grass to mow. I mean, it's robbery to only get 10 minutes on that tractor as it is now. So, you know, that's why I'm glad that he told me I could do his backyard, so at least it gives me that much more. It's diesel. It's the biggest of this series, of the X series. Four-wheel drive. And then, you know, the halogen headlights. Thought I had a scratch. So sure, for the amount of money I spent on that equipment, I could have a lawn service for years and years. But, you know, the yard will never look this good. It's like sloppy seconds. You know, having sex with multiple partners, you never know what you're going to get after they've done somebody else's yard, be it disease or weeds or whatever, because if you don't clean that mower deck out, and they don't, then it's going to end up getting dropped in your yard. So, you know, if they go and mow that guy's yard first, come over here, then I got all his beggar weed working its way into my grass. Ain't going to happen.
The route manager does not have to handle a concentrate, which is a good thing. And by the time it's sprayed on the lawn, it's very highly diluted. We have customers that will say, hit my weeds hard, hit my insects hard. And we have to stand there and explain, there's a rate we use, it's a process, it gets inside the weed, it gets inside the insect. It's a process of control. It's not like a laser beam that they explode in your lawn. You know, the idea that if you spray a liquid, it's going to poof, go into the aquifer. You know, even our customers think that. Well, if it rains, isn't it going to wash through? It's like, wow, you think that really happens and you still have our service?
So what is that actual smell you have in here?
The material is called Teflon, and it's one of the carriers in it. But it's used to control the broadleaf weeds. He's going to be coming back and treating this area here. The analogy people sometimes use is you walk by a bakery, you can smell bread, but you're not going to get fat. Although some people think they will, just by walking by. pesticides are causing all those problems, why aren't we seeing them? We're seeing people live longer, we're seeing cancer rates going down, and the word safe is not a word you use anywhere. What is safe? Nothing. Water's not safe. I mean, there's nothing that you can use that word with. Crayons. Nothing's safe. And so when people say pesticides aren't safe, what is?
Oh, here's somebody that's doing some stuff right now to this yard. Look at this. Oh, I know this woman. I can't remember her name. She's always got the fake flowers out front, though. Of course, sometimes when she just puts them out, you have to look really close because they look like real ones. I don't know that it's quite there yet. Can't quite get over the fake flower thing, but it's an effort.
Who regulates how much pesticide and fertilizer you put on a lawn? You can fertilize your lawn every week. You've got lawn guys that know nothing other than how to start a lawnmower that are fertilizing and pesticiding lawns. I mean, really. It's rolled just like carpet. And I've had numerous people come by and tell me they would have never known that it wasn't natural grass. And you had no idea that that was artificial turf. And you wouldn't. You have to get down on your hands and knees and actually feel it to realize it's not. Don't tell me that cancer, you can't attribute some of that to skin problems and things like that with kids rolling around on pesticides. If it's killing worms and bugs and all that stuff, it cannot be good for the human skin. It just can't be. When I started dealing with the city on the issue, they wouldn't listen to me. They said the first reason behind not putting in the artificial turf, and by the way, it's not astroturf, it's artificial turf. The first reason was it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. And I went to the city, had meetings with them, the doors were closed in my face, they didn't want to talk about it. So I said, if you guys want to see unaesthetically pleasing, I'll show it to you. And that's why I painted it pink and purple polka dots. And it's going to stay that way. It's never leaving. They think after this is resolved, one way or the other, it's leaving, and it's not.
When you live next to one of the houses that are trashed, you know, the feeling is that it brings down your property value because you live next to them, you know? And the only way they know what they live next to is by the state of their yard.
But when you look at yards that are being mowed at a height of maybe 2 inches, and then you see a lawn that may go to 6 or 8 or even 9 or possibly 10 inches, we really can't issue a notice until it hits 12, so therein lies a bit of a dilemma. There's a possibility that the ordinance needs to be re-examined.
This has been a property that's been a problem for a long time. It typically goes out of compliance, comes into compliance. Doesn't appear that anybody's home, so I'm going to do the courtesy notice again. Mow grass. I'm going to keep it real simple. And weeds. The neighbor that is to the east over here, obviously you can see that his lawn's maintained, and if you look around the neighborhood, most of the lawns are maintained in an acceptable manner. So when you have something like this, it becomes an issue.
You want to take a look in the back?
Yeah.
You can go on and on about the ecological benefits of having a lot of biomass and not having to burn gas and put the fertilizer down, the pesticides and the herbicides. But basically, this was because I liked the looks of it. I wanted the privacy. I liked the shade. The sidekick to the code enforcement officer said when he walked in here first, and I said, well, you know, you can't really grow grass here because there's not enough light. You know, they need to grow grass, you need some serious sunshine. He said, well, this natural look has got to go. Top the trees, put in a sprinkler system, sod it, and you can make it here. That will work for you. And didn't do it though.
Sounded like I heard some movement on that door. That could be a pet inside though. What I've done is filled this out. I'll leave it on the door so that the owner is aware of the fact that we made a visit and that they need to take care of the lawn. And I've given my phone number so they can call, and they may not even be aware of the fact that the city of Gainesville has an ordinance that prohibits excessive growth. Well, here comes someone. Hey there. And if it's not completed within that time frame, he's aware of the fact that the lawn needs to be mowed. He only has a weed eater. He said that just wouldn't take care of it.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him to keep it up, but...
You have a lawn mower?
Yeah, I have a weed eater, but, you know, this is just the problem. You know,
Yeah. A lawn mower...
I would appreciate it if you didn't.
No. Okay. Yeah, they're fine. You know, Walmart sells lawnmowers every day for 99 bucks. You can get a cheap one, cut the grass down and be compliant.
This is the landscape for a town that's been in drought for the last 7 years, has water shortages. At best gets 12 inches of rain a year, 6 of it from snow melt. And what do? They put in a water guzzling lawn.
You know, the national average is, I think, something like 40 to 60% of household water goes on landscapes. Think about it, you're pouring it into the ground. But if it's a natural native landscape, it can get along on rainfall, because it's used to that amount of rainfall.
Andy and I have written 10 books on landscaping with native plants, environmental gardening. A lot of people are investing in water because it's likely to end up being far more valuable than oil or gold.
Coca-Cola and a lot of major corporations are buying up water rights. I mean, you know, when you buy a bottle of drinking water in the supermarket today, that's just the beginning. We're going to be paying through the nose for water. And it's been said by people who know a lot more about it than I do, the wars of the 21st century will be fought over water, not oil.
People see green, it means life to me. You know, that's what it is. Every time you see green, you see color, it seems like people get happier. When you see a house with no green on it, it's kind of dead. When you see a house with a nice lawn and everything else, it becomes alive. You know what I mean? That's the way I think anyhow.
People tend to
you know, they tend to appreciate grass. I mean, they miss it. That's one thing you do hear people say they miss from the Midwest is you look out here and you go down the roads and sometimes it's brown. All you see is rocks, and then finally you see a couple houses that have, you know, nice lawn in front of it, and it reminds you of home. One of the biggest challenges we have here, besides the water, is the soil. As you can see, it's rock hard. The 115-degree days dry the soil out. It's rocky, you know. So to plant grass here, you have to rock pick, you have to rototill the ground to get it, you know, to come up. I mean, to grow grass on this. There's not very many things that will grow on this. I mean, I think they would be overwhelmed if they came out here and saw, you know, that there's 800 acres out here and another 800 acres there. As more people keep flocking to Arizona, I think we're gonna, you know, the trend is gonna be to go, you know, away from grass. Subdivisions keep it, you know, they're everywhere. Everywhere you look is a new subdivision, and there's probably gonna be a shortage at some point when they say, hey, you're only allotted so much grass, or, you know, this is the amount of water you get for a year.
It's not your grandmother's AstroTurf anymore. You know, it's not that indoor outdoor carpet anymore. We're talking long, lush looking, beautiful grass products. I mean, there used to be running springs in the valley that aren't no longer running. We've sucked the groundwater right out. What little groundwater there was here has been long gone. You know, most of our water is coming from Lake Mead, Colorado River. You can see the water line. You can see where it's in excess of 60 feet below. You know, it's like a ring on a bathtub. You can see where the water used to be. And because of the hard calcium, it dries white. The water line dries white. You have the side of these mountains, 80 feet, you know, up from the water level, that are white.
This is how anal I am about research. This is all the products that I considered. They have real tall stuff. This is like your fairway type grass, or if you want a deep fairway type lye. The green material is the polyethylene actual fiber elements. You know, that's just on a continuous spool. They have a bunch of sewing machines with a bunch of needles that they run the backing along. Again, I told you earlier, it's 15-foot wide rolls that they make this in, so they've got very large sewing machines. There's our only lawnmower, is the Elmo lawnmower. And I started doing a lot of research on the internet to figure out, you know, what the different products are, what the different grades are, what product I'm looking for. So finally narrowed down our product selection and made a choice, and went ahead and got an install, and we just finished it up a couple months ago. So it's a brand new install for us, and we're real happy with it.
The people that make the artificial turf were the first people to tell us about it, and they give you $1 a square foot for every square foot of grass that you rip out for water conservation. The only thing that I'll miss is the coolness of the grass. Yeah, because I guess the artificial turf is pretty hot.
This is kind of cute. Yards maintained, landscapes in, plus the Halloween decorations. That's what I like about it. I'm Deborah Oberlin with Trend Realty.
Nice to meet you.
First of all, I want to ask, do you mind, I'm going to ask you permission to recognize your yard as the Yard of the Month for our Connecting Neighbors website.
Okay.
It's really cute.
When I go by someone's home and I see that the front yard is unkept,
I'm sure it's not always true, but I think how well is their life kept? Not just their home, but their entire life kept. And there's several homes in the neighborhood that I don't know how they can stand to even go in the driveway. And it's a shame.
Well, you certainly have a
it's
nice
kind of
little
it's not
area
really
right here.
pride, but just, we just, I guess it is pride.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It increases
Not
your
at all.
property value as well.
Yeah.
So
I think it keeps everybody from being slobs.
Yeah. Yeah.